All right, so we're diving into Crumbl cookies today and how they built like this billion-dollar brand in just 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's not even like they started with this like killer recipe. You'd think that would be like
Essential for a bakery.
Yeah, you think so. You would think you need to have the best cookie recipe before even thinking about the rest of it.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They kind of threw out the whole playbook. Meet the founders, Jason McGowan and Sawyer Hemsley.
Sure.
Jason, tech background. Sawyer, marketing guru, neither one. A baking whiz, which ironically might be their superpower. They actually describe their approach as doing everything backwards. Imagine being like, I'm going to build this whole business, but I don't even know what I'm selling yet.
Right.
Like, wow, it's pretty amazing. I mean, by not being confined by the traditional way of thinking about bakeries, they were really free to experiment and innovate. You know, they wanted to create the best chocolate chip cookie in the world, but they literally had to turn to YouTube tutorials to learn how to bake.
I mean, that's kind of relatable. Who hasn't tried to like throw something together last minute from a YouTube tutorial?
Yeah, for sure.
But for them, it became this like obsessive deep dive, late night baking sessions, endless batches of dough. They were determined to crack the cookie code.
And that's where this unconventional journey gets really interesting. They weren't afraid to fail. You know, try something new. Go back to the drawing board like 100 times if they had to.
Wow.
They even used gas station encounters as impromptu taste tests.
Right, really?
Oh, yeah. They would hand out cookies to strangers, get that immediate feedback, love it, hate it, needs more salt.
Oh, wow.
It was like crowdsourced recipe development in action.
That's brilliant. So they were getting real-world feedback before they even opened their first store.
Exactly. That's a powerful lesson for any entrepreneur. You don't always need fancy market research when you have genuine customer interaction.
So true. But Crumbl's success, it's not just like, oh, they make good cookies, right?
No, not at all.
There's this whole experience that they've created around it. Like they've turned a cookie into a social media sensation.
It's true. And they understood, I think, right from the get-go, that in, you know, this Instagram world we live in, presentation is everything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more than just taking a pretty picture, right?
Right.
They tapped into this aesthetic, these oversized, decadent cookies.
Yeah.
With like the vibrant frosting colors. It just pops on the screen.
And you know they're going to look good in a picture. It's like they knew exactly what people would want to share. And don't even get me started on those pink boxes.
Oh, the packaging.
It's like unboxing.
Like the luxury handbag. But with cookies?
Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
But they've managed to make like indulgence, aspirational.
Yeah, and it plays into that whole idea of the experience economy, right? People, especially younger generations.
Yeah.
They don't want to just buy a product. They want to buy into like a feeling.
Yeah.
A community, a story they can share.
Yeah. They want the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Crumbl gives you all of that.
Yeah.
With every bite.
So speaking of creating buzz, we got to talk about the drop strategy. I mean, who would have thought a bakery would borrow from streetwear brands?
It's kind of genius, though, when you think about it. Every single week, there's this new lineup of flavors that drops.
Yeah.
It creates this sense of anticipation. And let's be honest, a little FOMO.
Oh, major FOMO. Like missing out on a week of Crumbl. You feel like you're missing out on like a cultural moment.
Exactly, yeah. And they've tapped into that psychology of scarcity and exclusivity. These limited time only flavors make you feel like you've got to get them now or risk missing out forever.
Totally. And the Sunday live stream reveals like genius. That's next level marketing.
It's brilliant.
It's like everyone's tuning in to see what the cookie gods have, you know, bestowed upon us this week. Is that a banana cream pie cookie? I need it.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that constant buzz.
Yeah.
That what's next factor keeps people coming back for more.
For sure.
They've turned a weekly cookie run into an event.
I love it. Okay, so we've got the cookies, we've got the marketing, the whole experience. But how do you actually scale that? I mean, going from one store to nearly 1,000 globally in just a few years, that's unheard of.
Yeah, and it's interesting how it happened with them. Because Crumbl's rapid expansion, it wasn't like part of some master plan. They kind of stumbled into franchising, like by accident.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't out there actively seeking out franchisees in the beginning. But the demand was so high, people were practically begging to be a part of it. Yeah, if someone told me, hey, I want to sell these cookies, I'd be like, where do I sign up? But franchising it's a whole other beast.
Right.
It's one thing to have, like, a successful store.
Yeah.
But how do you replicate that experience hundreds of times over in different states, different countries even?
You're right. It's a huge challenge. And that's where Crumbl's tech savviness really comes in. I think most people think of their app as just a way to order cookies.
Right.
But it's so much more than that.
Okay. What's under the hood?
I think of it as like the central nervous system of the whole Crumbl operation. It allows them to manage everything from inventory and supply chains to quality control and customer feedback in real time across all their locations.
Wow. So even though each store is independently owned and operated, the app is kind of like this invisible thread that's making sure that a Crumbl cookie in California is going to be the same as a Crumbl cookie in, like, New York.
Exactly. And that level of consistency is absolutely crucial, especially for a brand that relies so heavily on social media and word of mouth.
Right. And it also creates that, like, direct line between the company and the customer, like they were doing with those, gas station taste tests. But now it's on a global scale.
Exactly. They can see what's working, what's not working, what people are saying. All through the app, they can adapt quickly to trends, get instant feedback on new flavors, and just constantly fine-tune the entire experience.
Wow. So to wrap it all up, what are the big takeaways here? What can we learn from Crumbl's sweet success?
I think it's the power of embracing the unexpected. They weren't afraid to break the mold, to learn as they went, to use technology in a way that most traditional bakeries wouldn't even dream of doing.
And it's inspiring, right? It shows that you don't always have to have all the answers right from the start. Sometimes not knowing can be an advantage. It forces you to be more creative, to really listen to your customers, to constantly adapt and evolve. And hey, if it can lead to a billion-dollar cookie empire, maybe there's hope for the rest of us.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder that the best ideas often come from challenging the status quo. And being open to new possibilities.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe your next aha moment is just around the corner, waiting to be discovered. That's it for our deep dive into Crumbl cookies. We'll see you next time.